My brothers, you asked for it. You have been waiting so long for the next anti-meta video, and today I have MobileGamer with me, and we're going to bring it to you. Again, MobileGamer here for another anti-meta video. What's going on, MobileGamer?
Yeah, there we go.
Anti-meta! This has become one of my favorite video series to do because there's so many combos that work out there, and it actually makes me think, what is meta anymore? I mean, there's so many teams that work. We've got Night Sisters, we got Ray Jedi Training, we got Palpatine, we got Empire, we got so much that will even Commander Luke Skywalker diverse. Teams that are still working.
Very
Rex
diverse.
Is creeping his way in there. So diverse. And so when we approach this video, we've got some anti-meta teams for you. I think you'll really like them. But just keep in mind, I mean, the definition of meta is becoming pretty loose right now, and I think that's really healthy for the game.
I'm always reluctant to talk about anti-meta teams, and the reason for that is, you know, the meaning of the word, the acronym meta means most efficient tactic available. So we're talking about what isn't the most efficient tactic available. I mean, you know, so that is anti-meta, and I'm always reluctant to recommend gearing out heroes that are not viable in many parts of the game, but I'm looking at this list. It looks like almost all the teams are pretty good, except for there's one questionable team where I don't know if I would go all out in G12, but the rest of the teams I would. It's a great list.
Yep, if you're anti-meta, you are going to be swimming against the waves. And it's gonna take a little more effort. But something that I'm a huge advocate for is enjoying this game.
Creativity,
so if you enjoy that, you want to be creative, go for it. So let's go for this first team. From my buddy Eden Beal, I think is how you say this. And he actually has a YouTube channel. There's a link down in the description below. Check it out. End all be all. Wow. I was making that about 100 times harder than it should have been. All right. But he is running Rex, Wampa, Talzin, Shore Trooper, and Old Ben. He's able to take first every day with this team. And I love it because I love seeing, first of all, Rex working again in the arena. He's one of those classic go-to free-to-play characters.
Right, and I'm reading some of the notes that he left. You know, he's saying that the core of the team is Rex, Wampa, and Talzin, and then the last two spots he will cycle between General Kenobi, Shore Trooper, and Old Ben, depending on the team that he's playing up against. You know, like Shore Trooper is very good against Night Sisters. I gotta say, I really like this team. Rex, you know, is kind of anti-Empire. He kind of stops a lot of those stuns all that turn meter, and plus he gives tons of turn meter. Wampa is a total beast, you know, anti-rebel, also anti-Jedi Training Ray because his basic goes through Foresight, and then Talzin is kind of anti-Night Sisters. I just think this is an amazing team. I'm pretty sure it falls apart pretty easily on defense because Rex is kind of dead weight on a team, not a lot of health, not a lot of damage. It's really just his leadership. Now, if Rex leadership was on a beefy character that did damage, actually it would be pretty scary. But Rex is what? How long has Rex been like relevant? Like 2 years now almost? My goodness.
Yeah, it's ever since, as long as I can remember, pretty much. Almost I think maybe a couple months after I started playing the game.
Yes. And so
Rex
leadership is just over the top good and still good today. It's just the character himself is like no damage and no health pool, so squishy and no damage. So it kind of makes it like a 4 versus 5 team in some ways. But when I first saw Scion and the Empire and the Nightmare team, the first thing that came to mind is that Rex is kind of the counter to that team, and that's what we're seeing.
And I'm running Palpatine myself. I've got kind of that classic Nightmare team without Scion. I want to get him in there as soon as possible. But when I go against Rex and he puts that tenacity up, it's frustrating because he can't land a stun. It's pretty much worthless to do. And what makes that team so effective at the beginning of a battle is being able to stun 4 out of 5 characters, or what have you, maybe 3, maybe all 5 if you get lucky. But when that tenacity is up there and it stays there, it's persistent. It's hard to get your battle flowing. So this team does struggle. Just be aware this team can struggle against a well-modded Night Sister team with General Kenobi, but it's still beatable on manuals. So he says it's hard to beat this team on auto, but he is able to beat it manually just because the Wampa's AoE is devastating to them. And we actually did a video. I'll put a card up here right now. Go check out this video on MobileGamer's channel.
We're big fans of Wampa.
Where we talked about the Wampa, and I think we like the Wampa a little bit. The Wampa.
It seems like when I'm ever playtesting Wampa, I was like, wow, Wampa is amazing. And, boy, I think people are going to get a lot of use long-term out of Wampa for sure.
100%. All right, let's move on to team number 2. And this is from my buddy Mitch D26, and he's running First Order. Check that out. I actually did not realize that First Order had viability as a faction. First Order characters I've seen like Crew, or maybe a Zeta Kylo Ren, not as much anymore, but he's running full out First Order. We got Crew, First Order Officer Faust, and First Order TIE Pilot with Kylo. He will sometimes sub in Thrawn there, but this team actually hums pretty freaking well.
Yeah, this is a team I come up against in Territory Wars, and it's these First Order walls that are a nightmare to get it. And I know this team can win in offense. And the thing I'll say about this team is that 3 of the characters on this team, Kylo Ren Unmasked, First Order TIE Pilot, and Kylo Ren, all of their ships are amazing. So you're getting double duty. Now, First Order Officer and First Order Stormtrooper are kind of character specific to this team. Boy, I kind of break my heart taking them to Gear 12, knowing that they're only going to be good in this team. What do you think?
I think it's worth it, and actually something that I really want to call out about this team is how good it is in Territory Wars defense. I'm glad you brought that up. I have, if you guys aren't on my Discord server yet, go ahead and join. Link is in the description. We have a real blast there. And I started a new category, a new channel on my Discord server just for fun called the Hall of Fame. And I've got all of these different random Galaxy of Heroes achievements like, for example, the character that has a Zeta on it with the least amount of galactic power. And I'm so far winning that because Mobile, you Zeta'd my Chirpa. But another category there is most defensive holds on Territory Wars because we can track that now, which I think is totally awesome.
Yes.
And this team, this Kylo Ren team with, Crew, Kylo Ren, Faust, First Order TIE Pilot, First Order Officer, has the record for Territory Wars holds so far with 38.
Right.
That is insane, and that's this guy. His name is Peter Pye. If you're listening, good job. That is amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah. Other thing too, this team is kind of required to get BB-8, which is required to get Jedi Training Ray. So there's no harm in there in getting all these to 7-star.
Yeah, if you're not going to use this team in Arena, I get it. I think that there's better options. It works in the Arena, which I think is fantastic, but you're going to have use for all of these characters. They're going to help you unlock BB-8, like you just said. They're obviously going to be just awesome in Territory Wars and in Dark Side Territory battles, so I don't think there's anything wrong with farming these characters. All right, team number 3 here. We have got Kylo Ren Unmasked again, but this time with Thrawn, First Order Executioner, the Panda, Shore Trooper, and Zeta Kylo Ren. So similar to the last team, but we've got Thrawn in here for sure. We've got First Order Executioner in here, Shore, etc. I think this team is also pretty cool. Now this is my buddy NVR24 running this team, and he is able to finish first daily with his team. He's in about a year-old shard, and he is on defense. This is what I think is really notable about this team. On defense, he has never fallen past 15 overnight. He usually stays in the top 10.
Well, this is a relatively new shard that's about a year old, and I like all these characters. The only one that I haven't really dug too deeply is Panda, but the other 4 are quite amazing, actually.
Yeah, I think I think Panda is one of those characters where he came out and we just weren't able to maybe get the damage to work as well, but it really seems like in this composition, NVR24 has found a way to make him work, and it is in a younger shard, but still notable. I mean, if you're waking up in the morning and you're only at 15, I'm pretty stoked about that, whether I've been playing for a year or what I've been playing.
It doesn't happen on my shard, but anyways.
Yeah, well, yeah, you get into these old shards, and there's literally nothing you can do. You are going to fall into the 25, 30 range at best, probably. I know I've got a pretty well modded team, and I'm falling into the 35 to 40. But generally, some strategies. He wants to give a Shore turn first to cast Taunt and Crit Immunity, and then Kylo Ren at Mask halts General Kenobi or a tank to dispel the Taunt and prevents a cleanse on General Kenobi. So far, I mean, from what I'm seeing from this team, I think it works pretty dang well.
Yeah, I like all those characters, and again, they're all, again, crew. Kylo Ren Unmasked has a great ship. So does Thrawn. So does Shore Trooper. So does the old Kylo. So there's no worries about taking these up high because you can use the ships in the game, especially Shore Trooper. The TIE Reaper is probably the second best ship in the game.
Definitely.
Love that ship so much. At any star level, that ship is amazing.
Yeah. Definitely. And Kylo Ren with the TIE Slicer.
I can't believe how much of that I see all over my server, Discord server, everywhere. Everybody's talking about TIE Slicer. Even people put it in their name. It's crazy. I love that.
It's a movement. It's a movement.
Because
when I said TIE Slicer, initially people thought Cubs fan Han can't read, but no. I was right. CG just made a typo.
There you go. There you go. Silencer. Slicer, though, I like the picture of the scissors,
Yeah, in fact, it was actually the day after I posted that video where, if you guys are confused about what we're talking about, when we revealed the TIE Silencer, in my video, I called it the TIE Slicer the entire time and was totally oblivious to the actual spelling on the abilities. And the next day, it was a dev sent me a personal message, and it was just a picture of this guy cutting a tie. And he said, "This is a TIE Slicer, Cubs."
A dev sent you that? That's hysterical.
A dev sent me that, yeah. So I was the laughing stock both in the community and at the catacombs of Capital Games in Sacramento. All right, rounding it out with my favorite team on this list and your least favorite team. That is the Jedi. And this is from my buddy, David Nicholson. He has a YouTube channel as well. Go ahead, check it out. Now, the reason I love this team is not because it's super effective. In fact, I think it's probably the least powerful team that we're showing you. But I just love Jedi. To me, Star Wars is about Jedi. And I have always wanted to have a Jedi meta in this game. And so seeing Jedi work in the current meta is very exciting for me, and he is in an old shard. This is a December 2015 shard, and he is on a 3-man rotation for first, and he normally falls into the high teens, low 20s with this team. And if you're wondering what's the team, it's we got Hermit Yoda, Old Ben, Ezra, Qui-Gon Jinn, and General Kenobi, and their mods are pretty decent. I do have to wonder with this team, I wonder how competitive his shard is if that's how far he's falling. I feel like this exact team with these speed stats would fall quite a bit farther than that in my shard, but still very cool to see it working in such a seasoned shard.
Yeah, someone runs this in my shard also, and I know that they do well, and I'm in an older shard also. It's pretty easy for me with Jedi Training Ray to, like it says, struggles against Jedi Training Ray teams. I autoplay against this team, but I do like the characters. Hermit Yoda, is of course an amazing character. Old Ben's amazing, very useful in different parts of the game. He works very well.
You need to get Commander Luke
Not
as
only
well,
Rebel teams,
so that's important.
Yeah, Jedi Team, and then Ezra, so many different places he works, not only in Night Sister teams, but this. General Kenobi, probably the most no-brainer character in the entire game to gear out. Qui-Gon Jinn was a staple for a long time, so, you have to put the Zeta on Qui-Gon Jinn. I really want, Jedis to be viable, but, for right now, that's not what's going on in the game.
Yeah.
And I think this team probably wins on offense, and it probably does okay. I just know that my Jedi Training Ray team just auto-plays against this with no thought whatsoever.
Again, I'm stoked to see that this is working for him. But if I see this team, if I've got to choose between this team and a Palpatine team and a Rey Jedi Training team, it is a no-brainer. I'm going to target the Jedi team unless, he's got his payout coming up and I know the guy and I'm going to be nice to him. But that's not what this is about, my dudes. This is the meta, and this team goes against the grain. Probably our most anti-meta team. It's utilizing the least amount of meta characters, and it is viable. At least on offense, maybe not as much on defense, but for him, somehow, I mean, I'm really surprised to hear it actually seems to be holding decent for him on defense.
Yeah, I would love to see Jedi, and Qui-Gon Jinn has already had a rework.
Yeah.
I don't think it would need a lot, or I don't think that there's a lot needed to make, some viable Jedi teams. I mean, Ezra, General Kenobi, Hoda, Old Ben's already, and Old Ben's had reworks also, so I think, that may be in the future when Commander Luke or Jedi Luke comes to the game, that we're going to have, once and for all Jedi, in the top of the arena. Boy, I know you're waiting for it. Everybody's waiting for it. Someday,
the
right?
Jedi could be one solid leader / support character away from having a meta. I mean, if you think about the meta characters we have that are Jedi, we've got General Kenobi. Enough said. Ezra definitely fits the bill. Hermit Yoda definitely fits the bill. In fact, I think this entire team pretty much fits the bill, but Qui-Gon Jinn just lacks a little bit. His Zeta bill is really good.
Jedi Luke.
Plug Jedi Luke
right
in there, and
it's
what
done,
happens?
Right?
I mean, if Jedi Luke is anywhere near as OP as Commander Luke was when he first came out, I think that could be what this team is lacking. Then, boom, we got a Jedi meta. Or we could have perhaps a Jedi from the Old Republic universe come in that's really solid. So it's possible.
Yeah, we're waiting for the green lightsaber Luke for a while now, and that's what we're waiting for.
All right, my friends, that wraps up our third episode of the Anti-Meta. Do you have an anti-meta team that you want featured on these videos? Go ahead and join my Discord server. I got a whole channel for it where you can share those teams, and I will find these teams from that list. All of these teams are organic. I am not theory crafting these teams and testing them out on a test account. These are actual teams that you guys are running in live shards across Galaxy of Heroes. So, MobileGamer, I got to thank you for coming on the video. If you guys have not checked out MobileGamer, I can't imagine that you haven't, but if you haven't, you are not doing Star Wars Galaxy Heroes right. Go ahead and get over to his channel. MobileGamer, do you have any parting words of wisdom for the lovely ladies and gentlemen out there?
I have to recommend your Discord server. It's actually pretty good.
Hey, okay, yeah.
I like it. It's better
my
than
Discord server is like my
I
hangout
just opened
spot.
one, but your Discord server is quite good. It's seasoned and it's good. A lot of good stuff on there.
Check out MobileGamers as well. He's a bit of a Discord server rookie, but he'll get there.
Oh yeah, it's only been open for like a week or two, so I'm just getting started on mine.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, my friends, thanks for watching the video. If you'd like to, give it a thumbs up, and as always, don't forget.
For my dead body. Sorry about the mess.